Good morning. It is morning, isn't it? I think you're on the East Coast, though, Deborah. So thank you so much for being here. Hi, everyone. I met Deborah about a month ago. I've been creeping her on social media, and I reached out to her and I said, I need to know you. I need to understand what you do. I would love to interview you. You've got life figured out, and I think that you just have so much to give. So, Deborah, thank you so much for being here today. I know that we're new friends, but we became fast friends. As soon as we were on the phone together, I was like, oh my God, she's my people. Like, I totally get where her head is at. So welcome today. And I would absolutely love if you could just share your story and tell people a little bit about yourself and where you're from and how you got to being here.
Okay, this is when you say, oh, do you have an hour?
I don't care. Like, let's do this. Let's you tell them and we'll have a conversation around it. And people are going to learn and grow as we speak.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm not going to keep you here for an hour, that's for sure. But I will do a good job on telling you my story. No, you have been just amazing to connect with, Christina. You have a way about you that just, attracts people to you, draws people in. So you, to me, are the social media queen, and but in a way that is so heart-centered and purposeful. So I want to thank you so much for having me too. So, all right. So I love talking about my story. I think most people like to talk about their stories, but it started for me at a very, very young age, probably, I don't know, right out of high school. I'm a farm kid, actually, from Alberta.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm raising farm kids.
Yeah, I know. Farm kids are pretty cool. But, at that time when you're a farm kid, you just think that's the worst thing in the world and you want to get off to the big city. But what did happen was I really got my work ethic from being a farm kid. And the second thing is that my parents were very entrepreneurial, just because, when you're a farmer, you want to buy land and you want to grow this and you want to ship it to the world and so on. And so I got that entrepreneurial spirit right on very quickly. But it was 17 and I left home to go to the big city, put myself through school, work 3 jobs, all that kind of stuff. And my big goal, my big dream was to have a sports car. Now, why does a farm kid want a sports car anyways, right? But that was my dream. And you know what? I just manifested it. I didn't know how I was doing this at that very young age. And by 21, I bought my own sports car, cash. Okay. And it was a TR6 red sports car, convertible. And I went from Edmonton all the way over to the West Coast, every single summer through the mountains, the Rocky Mountains. And I thought that was my freedom car. And it was so much fun. So that's kind of when I started thinking about, the lifestyle and the freedom and the journey and all that. But when you're a kid, you still don't really know how you're going to get there. So it's not like it comes up easily. Parents didn't have any extra money. I had to do it pretty much all on my own. But what I did do is I got into the franchising world at the age of 24 with another partner. That was my first sort of go at entrepreneurship. It was fun. I was young. I could work 7 days a week when the staff didn't show up.
That's right.
And it was super experiential with learning about business in the franchise world. And at that time, franchising was kind of looked upon as just being new and coming into it, but it was still considered like, what are those things they're doing? Why are they franchising? And so it's kind of like the way direct selling has been over the last 50 years too. So I'm going to do a little bit of comparison on that. But having that experience in the franchise world was excellent for me, but then fell in love, moved to all different cities because my husband was a pilot in the Air Force. So what do? You keep your career going. They keep their career going. Yeah. But what's crazy is that it was just that constant hamster wheel. That's what a lot of people are on. And I thought that was the norm. But we started a family and had a wonderful, beautiful child. And then we had another child, but unfortunately she didn't survive. So that was a huge wake-up call for me. And I tell you this because it still brings such goosebumps to me every time I talk about it, because you don't realize I didn't realize what I was doing at the time. I just thought, this is normal to go on like this. And when it hits you like that, there's this wall and you go, I got to do something about my life. I can't be on a double hamster wheel anymore. So we were fortunate to live in great places. And then we had our third child. And then that's when I really said to myself, after being in Europe for 3 years, I said, when we come back, I'm going to look for a business that is going to be something I can do from home. And so that's when I started the home-based business idea and went, okay, what can I do? And so of course, you start thinking about it, and guess what happens? It's that, what is it called? The activator thing,
Yeah.
where once you see a red car, you see a zillion red cars,
Yeah.
that are just like yours.
Yeah.
Well, I just said to myself, I want to get into a home-based business. Well, all of a sudden, it's coming at you. So there's a lot of different opportunities. My sister did introduce me to the network marketing model, and I poo-pooed it right out of the gate. Even though I thought I was an open person, I actually was pretty closed on some of these things because I just didn't understand what network marketing was about. I didn't understand direct sales. And so I had to learn. And I'm sure, Christina, you're the same, where, you've, had different businesses along the way. And then you went into direct sales and going into the home-based business world. And it's like, wow, there's really something out here for us that we can create for ourselves. So that's what I did. And I didn't know anything. I just went to my team leaders. They helped me get started. I had no idea what I was doing. And I'm telling you, Christina, this was before cell phones, the internet, and you had to use long distance phone calls and all of that kind of stuff.
You have to actually talk to people? What?
What? Yeah, exactly. I know, it was crazy. So, and it was so scary. I felt really nervous about it. And I know a lot of people get that feeling when they first start, is like, can I really do this? But I took that leap of faith because what my sister said to me was, what in the world do you have to lose to check it out? Just check it out.
Yeah.
And then she said, get on a call with, her team leader, because she just started herself. And I did. And I was like, wow, she's really cool too. I still was resistant. And then what I did was, she said, come out to a convention. And I said, no, I can't do that. I have the kids, little kids. I don't want to be, taking time away, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she said, it's only 2 days. Come on, let's do it. It'll be a good getaway for you, right? Because moms need a break.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I look forward to those conventions, by the way.
I know. We hope they're going to start up soon, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this Florida home that I'm in, by the way, is pretty warm right now. So if I'm a little bit sweaty, that's why.
Oh, well,
it's
I'm
so
a
hot
bit
out
jealous because I'm up here in my sweater.
I know, we walk the beach every day. It's like I do about 13 kilometers a day, morning and evening, basically. Totally loving it. But anyways, sorry, side note there. Where was I?
No, because what you're explaining is the life that you created, that you go get to walk on the beach for 13 kilometers every day. And you created that from all of these little things that led to this place now. Yeah.
So anyways, I did go to the convention, and I heard people on stage, and I heard like the heart, the purpose, where they were coming from. And it wasn't just like, oh, we're just making all kinds of money, or we're doing all of this. It's like real purpose-driven types of businesses and business people, like the people that we want to hang around with. So I did all of that, and I dove in. I had no clue. And then from there, within the first year and a half, I replaced my full-time income from my previous career, did that, and then said, you know what? I think I'm going to start investing in real estate, because we had moved all the time, buying, selling homes and so on. And I thought, why don't we just have a couple of rental properties? So this just clicked on me when I started listening to Robert Kiyosaki. You probably know Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. Because what I saw when I started studying his stuff is that I wanted to be on one side of the quadrant, like go from one to the other. Right. So the employee and the self employed, I had already done with my jobs as well as with the franchise. So then I went over here and said, okay, how can I be in the B and the I quadrant, which is business and investor? So I said, okay, I'm in business, I'm in direct sales. It creates residual income. You do it once, and then it continues to keep on going as your customers continue to buy from you and your team builds and so on. And so I said, okay, if I can get to that side, and then now I can be in the I quadrant where I can invest and start to build assets. So that was where things really turned around for me. I took my portion of my business profits, really was very, very diligent on creating wealth accounts. Then I put it into these down payments for rental properties. And within 5 years, I had 13 properties, single family homes, and I just went to town on it. But wow. I was learning that piece, and I had already established myself as a leader in the network marketing realm. So then I could then do this thing. But it was like, okay, there's residual here with my health and wellness company, and there's residuals on this side. So what I try to teach people is start to do this right away, like as young as possible, because I didn't start doing that till I was 45. But yet I had invested in a franchise when I was 24. Right. And I also bought my first home at 25.
Types of business.
Yeah, exactly. So when I think back, if I had continued to maybe do some of that, maybe back then, but anyways, you live your life, you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You get married, have kids, and all that kind of
Hindsight's
stuff. So
2020, and if we could rewrite it, then we would. But
yeah,
at least we have children
exactly.
to tell.
Yeah, exactly. So true, so true. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's what I teach. And now I'm, with another company. My first company, I was with them for 9 years. The second company for 9, and now I'm with this one for just a year. So that
Wow.
puts me in a category, I guess, of being around for a while.
Gives you
But
some credibility.
yeah, some credibility. But you know what? When you get into your third quarter of your life, you really don't want to feel like you don't want to hear that you're in your 60s. But I
Right.
feel like I'm in my 40s,
Yeah.
and so I've always had that whole thing because I believe in health and I believe in creating wealth. And when you can do both and lessen the stress, because both, if you don't have your health, you're going to be stressed. If you don't have money in your bank account, you're going to be stressed. So you have to get that balance, and times are going to be up and down and curvy and everything else, right? But you got to do it. Now, I also wrote a book called Creating Freedom.
I love it.
Years ago, I wrote that. I went, oh my gosh, I actually wrote a book. Wow.
I know.
You
It's
did
so
too.
funny
You
when
did
it
too.
comes up and I'm just like, really? Me? Okay. Like, here's my ideas.
Yeah, I know. Because way back before I started writing this, I thought, everybody else is writing a book. I thought, well, I can't do that. What? Why can't I?
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, for
Wow, I
sure. So
love
I
it.
wrote that a few years ago, and it's on the network marketing business model. And interestingly enough, my business coach at the time said to me, I said, I'm writing a book. She's going to write about real estate investing. And I said, actually, no, I'm going to write about business building inside the network marketing model. And she said, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Because most people would expect me to think about doing real estate investing because it's sexier,
It is
and
sexier, but you wouldn't have had one without the other.
exactly. This is just it.
That's what
So,
people don't understand.
yeah. So I really want people to understand that be super diligent on creating side incomes, whatever that might be, or taking some of your money from your job if you're not into being an entrepreneur. But if you are, like, be an entrepreneur, because now during these COVID times, oh my gosh, this is the best time to start, a side
Yeah.
project, a side
Oh
gig,
my
work
God.
with your company, work with my company, work with who's ever company, because the whole industry is booming.
Yep.
And it's a great way to build residuals because I mean, even from these book, and that you can't make a lot of money off a book these days. It's more about the programs,
No, you can't, but you can help people with it. So that's what I
Yes,
feel good about.
yeah, exactly. No, of course. What I mean is that the book itself is not really the money maker in the
It
sense,
absolutely.
unless you're like so into that and that's your genre and that's what you're going to do. But if you want to be a business builder and learn and get the skills, then go into something like this, because the coaching isn't built in. The personal growth and development is built in. I'm super big on personal growth and development. I know you are too, Christina.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I'm
who are
relating
your
to everything that you're saying right now. And it's so funny because we have a very similar story. I left home at 17. I bought a red convertible, like a little sports car, right? To make me
really?
feel good.
I know.
And I did it all on my own. I didn't have family wealth. You had
Yes.
a different upbringing in that you had entrepreneurial parents. So I had to fight through union parents and
Mm,
blue collar parents. And like, I was
right.
totally the black sheep, but I relate to everything that you're saying. And I think the important thing is, we're not talking about making money. We're talking about creating wealth. And that's two different
Exactly.
things. And so often people totally dismiss network marketing because they think they can't do it, or only a few people make money doing it. It's if you decide to go into it like a business and you're like, I want to create a residual income. I'm going to learn the things that I need to do. I'm going to do the personal development. I'm going to learn the leadership. Anybody can make money in that space, and it's not about you versus me or who's making money off of who. Like, people that don't understand the industry look at it that
Yeah.
way, but
Yeah.
once you're in it, you're like, this is the answer to my prayers. Money that is coming in every single month that I'm just squirreling away and paying my bills with. And as I'm squirreling it away, what am I going to create with that money? And I never would
Exactly.
have been able to come up with that before. So, can you talk a little, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you
Yeah.
talk a
Yeah.
little
No.
bit about the franchise? Because I know buying a franchise, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Lessons.
you're still trading dollars for hours, and you're selling stuff, buying, selling, buying, selling. Same thing with the salon. I was trading dollars for hours. And so why do you see this as a better business model?
Well, first of all, bricks and mortar and overhead, like paying your lease. I mean, is. I mean, we know so many gym owners, hairstylists, massage therapies, chiropractors, anybody that has like a small business. I'm not talking about the big corporate offices or anything like that. I don't know what their situation will be once this whole COVID thing happens, but you don't have to worry about that. And I'm talking tomorrow on another showcase, the UK showcase that with my company, and they've asked me to talk about the laptop lifestyle.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you like that kind of thing, but I can still work from my laptop from my home. If I'm a homebody person, I can still work my laptop. And the phone, I was at the beach yesterday, just working my business from my phone. Like everything is just so like, let's use the resources now that we have. When I started, I had to be on a long landline, that kind of thing. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You can work from anywhere. And I think that's the piece. The franchising thing costs tons of money, and your return on your investment will not come quickly. You're lucky if you get it in 5 years. Yes, you could be paying yourself, but you're paying yourself as a job in a job kind of environment as an employee in a sense. You're the manager of that franchise. Now, if you have several franchises, that's a different story, because then that's you're building residuals from those particular ones that are also in your line, I guess you might say. But it's still the investment to buy several franchises. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I think that's why home-based business online, you're doing such a fantastic job of getting the word out about you as a leader, as a brand, and then how you can help other people do that as well. Yes. And that's what's really cool. So franchising to me, yes, it's a good thing for some people, but certainly for most people, it's not the way to go. This is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
good
one
question.
of the things is so apparent to me when you're speaking is the self-education and the responsibility and the ownership that you've taken of your life, right? It's like, okay,
absolutely.
Maybe I wasn't going to go down the franchise piece, or maybe, that, like, because we all learn and grow. Like, people are so scared to make mistakes. And like you said, it could be your company, it could be my company. Like, we don't work together. I believe in the industry as a whole. And if you talk to me and it's not mine, then go talk to Deborah and get on, be excited and be on fire about the thing that you stand for. But showing people that there's a different way to do business is something that I'm very passionate about, because I was the person that was like, network marketing. Like, I'm kind of above that. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, and So I say it with humility, because it cake on my face now, now I realize what the industry is, and how you can grow, and how you can help other people grow, and how it's a feel good place to create a legacy. And
absolutely.
I think that, that self-education and ownership of your life, like, nobody went out and said, I'm going to take care of you in real estate, right? Like, I'm going to help you do that. You went out and read some books and got an education.
Yeah, exactly. Where here, you've got this coach right there behind you, helping you all the way. So it's a great training ground for people. On the job training, I say, be an apprentice first. Be open, first of all, be coachable. And then, learn the skills and start to build the business, and it's going to happen. One of the things that I feel really strongly about, sometimes people think, well, the person at the top is making the money. Well, they earned that level, not because they're making money from other people. They actually went out and did everything. And when you hear and see what they've done, you go, wow. And they have heart, they have purpose, because they want to do that. Now, there are going to be a few people that maybe don't have that whole thing, but we're there to help other people. So if you talk about that legacy, about creating wealth, I mean, when I did my 13 properties in a 5-year period, I ended up becoming mortgage free on my personal home. Okay. I, tripled my net worth, and it just, you just start to see that you can put money where you want it to be. So I could start to give back more. If people have charities or different things they want to do, but we're giving back in what we're doing and teaching and training others as leaders. Now, I think that not everybody on your team wants to be a leader, but they want to be a builder, and they may just need $500 a month. Another person wants $5,000 a month, and then another person wants $50,000 a month. So if you can do it in this simple way that's already built and set up for you, then that's why this model is so fantastic. Everything's done for you.
Absolutely. It's like a business in a box, plus personal development, plus like get out of your own damn way and learn the business skills that are going to serve you for the rest of your life. Learn the social media skills that are going to be very valuable over the next few years. Right? I just heard you say, did you say you tripled your net worth in 5 Years. So you
Yes,
were very, very intentional with what you were doing with your money, where you were
exactly.
putting it, and how you were investing it. And I wish that more people would have this conversation, especially right now.
Exactly. I just, love, I guess I personally always think like set your goals. Don't be like crazy about them in the sense that if you don't meet them, it's going to be horrible and over, that kind of thing. Because sometimes people get too anxious about their goals, right? So they pull back and don't set any. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want to get into real estate investing. I bought one property, I got a second, I got a third. Okay, now what should I do? So on that third property, that's when I started really saying, I need to learn more from the experts. And I went to courses and did all of that. That weekend seminar, I set my goal for 10 in 5 years and did 13. So it just
What?
goes to show, yeah, yeah. I mean, it just like in my mind, I'm thinking that. I don't think I even told my husband, like, because I was using my income to build the investments. He
Yeah.
was a little bit, not so crazy about doing that. He was a little bit more risk. I'm risk adverse, where I'm more risk
I'll
tolerant,
take,
or
yeah,
I
you'll
can,
take a risk.
I'll, t- I'll
You
take
know,
the,
I think that we marry those people so that we don't fall off a ledge. You know, like I think that they
okay,
anchor
right.
us a little bit and keep us safe, because I'm the same person too. It's funny because Ryan and I have been talking about this a lot, and he made his wealth as a young guy, even though he was in the bar industry. He bought his
Right.
first home at 19. His mom was a
Yeah.
realtor. He started flipping homes and creating wealth that way. And the reason that we
Excellent.
have, a lot of people assume that what we have is because of my business and the residual income that we've made. But what we have is because of him. And actually, it's so funny because I know how dry the real estate course is. And I was like, why don't, like he brought that to me the other day. He's like, should I be doing that? Not the other day, but like a few months ago. And we've talked about the real estate, whatever. Anyways, that's what he's in the middle of doing right now, because it makes sense in our life to have that as a skill set because of the investments that we believe in.
Well, and you're going to keep it inside of your family versus going outside your family. So yeah, and there's a lot to learn about investing, real estate investing, and now there's a lot of other ways to invest into assets, right? But which ones are the ones that are going to feel right for you? So for me, I felt like a rental property was, a secure, a tangible type thing, right? Where I'm not so much as an investor in sort of the paper assets and the stock market and that kind of
Like
thing. I
everyone's
do have
throwing their money in crypto right now. So, which
exactly.
I'm not
I
saying
have
is a
some.
bad idea. Like I'm not
No,
knocking
yeah,
any of the stock market stuff. Like I'm not doing that, but just a long-term asset that you will end up owning.
yeah,
Think about that
exactly.
process, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, even if you have one or two, I mean, that is fantastic because you're talking about paying it off in 20, 25 years. And then that is, residual income full out. So maybe it's only $100 residual income right now per month, but it could work out to 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, depending on what you do. So these are the kinds of things, like looking at cash flow, looking at building assets, creating that wealth is what I'm really all about. I love it. And if people want to learn from me, they can, and they can just
I love it.
hire me at some point if they want to.
And sorry, can you show your book again to make sure
Yeah.
that it's there? You go. So if you guys want to pick up her book, Creating Freedom, you're in the network marketing industry, you're looking at growing wealth, creating wealth, because you know what freedom is? It's having options. And you have options when you have wealth, when you don't have to worry that there are multiple streams of income coming into your bank account. You don't have to worry what's there. That's what true freedom is. And both you and I believe in that. And the way that we got there was through network marketing. And I think that that is such a powerful message right now, because people have their stigma of it, like I did. And I pushed it off and I said no, and I was skeptical. And now is the time to start asking questions. Now is the time to say, hey, what's that really about? What are you actually doing? Instead of being like envious of the lives that like owning 13 other homes, like instead of being envious of somebody who's created massive wealth, get her book. Learn how to create that wealth for yourself. And you'll see that the people that are in that position are the people that are willing to do the work. They're hungry, they are motivated because they know deep down what their why is, and they're willing to do anything and listen to other people. Like you said, you got a coach or you started doing some courses. You get involved with people that know more than you, and you'll speed up time if you start asking questions. So, Deborah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Is there anything you want to leave them with?
I would, just a couple of things. Just go deep inside your why. I mean, if you don't do that, like I wasn't doing that in my early years until I had the
When you were
tragedy
24,
happen.
you mean?
Yeah, when I was 20, I was just going along with life, you know. I know my son is kind of doing that too, and my daughter's doing some of that too. But but you know what? I'll tell you something. Even though they're not doing exactly what I'm doing. They have the attitude and the vision of building and creating freedom for themselves because of the things that their projects that they're working on and the way that they're running their lives. And I know it was because of
Absolutely.
coming from the osmosis in a sense, or, you know, them watching you as, you know, their role models doing this, and saying, wow, you know, like they continue to tell me how much I inspire them. And I continue to tell them how much they inspire me, because you got to learn from the young people and you got to learn from your mentors, people that came before you. So just go for it, get the why and get the mentors. Start building a business.
Thing. You know, that evolution that we have, and so often we miss that piece because we're so busy and people are working 2 jobs and their kids are in daycare and we're running to sports and we're doing this and we're doing that, and we miss that piece that we get to be the role model. What we do is what they see, and it's what they end up doing. So if we show them how to create wealth, if we show them how to create freedom, if we show them how to pursue their passions and find a purpose, they will be unstoppable, and their happiness level will be so much higher than plugging into a system that doesn't serve them.
Exactly. Right? Totally. Right on.
Thank you so much for being here, Deborah. I appreciate you. I think you are a very, very smart woman, and congratulations on all of your success and creating the wealth that you and your family deserves. I admire you, and I think you're amazing.
Thank you so much. I admire you too, Christina. We're on the same path, and really appreciate you. So awesome. Have a good one.
Thank you. Well, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Deborah. For those of you that are watching, you know that I just launched my 6-figure profit plan, and I'm super excited to be able to help some of you that are feeling stuck on that hamster wheel push through that 6 figures. Because what happens when you do that, when you create this big residual income, not only are you paying all your bills, but you're starting to think a little bit bigger on what you're going to do with the rest of your money. Sure, sometimes we go out and buy a fancy sports car. Sometimes, you know, we buy a nice purse once in a while, right? But when you are intentional with the money that you are making, you can move mountains and rewrite your family's legacy. You can change the way that wealth was created in your family for the rest of the generations to come. And all you have to do is start with an idea and be willing to work behind it. So have an amazing day. Thank you again for being here, Deborah, and we will see you soon. Bye.
My pleasure. Bye.